Second race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup. We're in Winterberg in Germany. We're a couple of hours from the Dutch and Belgian borders, and hence lots of orange and red in the crowd. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven. Alongside me is Greg West as we get ready for the second and deciding run in the women's skeleton competition. And basically 2/10 covers almost the entire field, Greg.
We have a battle royale all the way down the track. It is absolutely amazing. From 4th all the way back to 18th, could flip all the way around. We saw Tina Herman sitting in 3rd place, definitely has a shot to stay on the podium. Alina Nicotina, who's making me look bad, out pushing me on the start ramp today by 300s. Nice job there, sitting solidly in 2nd. But then you have your leader, Jacqueline Lolling, who put her foot down a little early there, sorry, on the replay, absolutely showing us how to find speed. Did we say she had the 2nd fastest speed, men and women combined? Something like that. Absolutely ridiculous speed on the first heat, and that's why she's leading by a monstrous 0.3 of a second after the first heat, 3,400s. But we have battles all the way down. Look, 3rd to 4th, 100. And then from 5th back to like 17th is covered by like 0.2. So somebody's going to post up in the leader's box and hang out for a while. They better get the jackets ready because we're about to have a race on our hands.
Yeah, we absolutely are. That's the nature of this track here in Winterberg. It's very tight racing, very close in terms of time, lots of very similar slides. You're absolutely right. Only Alexander Tretyakov in the men's race had higher speed at the bottom of the track than the hometown queen, Jacqueline Lolling, our world champion and double world champion, in fact, and double World Cup champion. There's Janine Flock. Now, she's your outside bet for a podium. Not so much of an outsider. She's only 200s out of silver, and she's in 4th place.
I think Janine has an opportunity here to go up and maybe give Lolling a run for her money. We saw Janine slip on the start ramp and really stumble for a few steps, had an incredibly slow push by her standards, and if she can put one down on the start ramp, she obviously can put one down the track. So that could be interesting to watch. So Lolling better not slip up because she does have the Austrian breathing down her neck. And then, of course, you have the Russian Nicotina, who pushes faster than, a quarter of the guys' field. Yep. So she's always in the mix. She puts down a burner. It could get very interesting top to bottom on this start list.
Yeah, as you said, so tight, so many gaps, 100th here, 300s there, 200s there, that somebody's going to need to wrap up warm in the leader's box because they're going to lay down a burner and they'll be in there forever. You can see Jacqueline Lolling's family and friends down there getting ready to greet her. She'll go last as our top 20 go last to fast. Valentina Margaglio making her seasonal debut will be first off. She's 20th after the first heat. Sophia Jong, then Savannah Grable. Kimberly Murray in her 2nd ever World Cup race. Jackie Narracott making her seasonal debut, as indeed is Janine Flock. It's her first World Cup race of the season as well, and she will be 4th last to go. The medal's currently in the hands of Tina Herman, Alina Nicotina and Jacqueline Lolling. I think Lolling probably going to hang on to hers. The other two, everything's up for grabs. First leg, second heat of the women's skeleton race here in Winterberg, Germany. Martin Haven, Greg West watching Italy's Valentina Margaglio. She kicks off with the 20th fastest heat in the first run. What's she got for us now?
She had a very impressive 7th fastest start time, 5:44 this heat, so she does fall back from that 5:36, but a much cleaner turn 0 to 1, and this is a nice looking top from the Italian World Cup debutante.
Well, so much of this track is about not giving away whatever speed you've got at the start.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of nuance. There's 2 schools of thought here. Let it run and just let the track come to you, or you can drive a lot and see if you can find the speed, and then everybody else is kind of in between. So 90.9, we'll see after the fresh track prep how that speed holds up. Pretty decent speed for the first heat. But you see, like the first heat, down here she's not quite as comfortable. You see the legs starting to come apart. Down on speed, 94.5K. I think we'll see around 97 from the elite girls. But a little cleaner bottom. And for a first World Cup ever, 123.0 speed through 14, I think that she's going to be very happy. Through and down, 58.71, that is 2/10, 2,500, we'll call it a quarter second faster than her first heat, which what that says is that anybody in this middle of this pack within a quarter second of each other, flip a coin.
Yeah, exactly, all bets are off. Let's essentially say that almost everybody from 18th up to 6th is in a dead tie, but she's got a big smile on her face, much tidier second run.
almost steps on the sled there on the penultimate step. But pretty good speed from, once again, first World Cup. You see her staring down into turn 1. We see exit turn 3 here. Coming around and sticks on the right wall. Most athletes are on the left side there, just a little bit off. And you see the head come up a bit, the legs coming out. And as she gets further along in her career, those are things that are going to come together. A little more trust will have more speed.
One of 2 women in the field, one of 3 women skeleton athletes who started as a bobsleigh brakewoman. You know the other one? We'll get to that later. 25-year-old on Saturday, Valentina Margallo is our leader as Sophia Jong of Korea now takes her turn at the track. 5.40, just a fraction slower in the first start than Margallo, and she ties that start.
Matches it.
Yeah.
Quarter second up, much better turn 0 for Sophia. And I'm just really hoping for her to have a nice, clean run. You know, coming from Segula, which was not kind to her, and then the exit of turn 14 in the first tee, she's just looking to keep it shiny side down.
4th ever World Cup start. She has never raced here in her life. This is now her 8th trip down the track.
For somebody that's never been here, very good top. She's pulling away. 34 seconds up, 91.3, so much better speed than the Italian. The little blip on the exit of Chrysler is just fine. If she's clean going in 9, you'll see her pull away, and she is. Up 4/10 into the bottom.
Exactly 2/10 ahead after the first heat, so the track is quicker. Margallo started early, Jong started a little bit in the middle of the field.
This is a great run, up a half a second almost, 124.2, over again! Sophia, I'm gonna teach her to drop a toe or something on the exit.
Oh no, hold the speed. You saw Hansen Lee, the coach there, wonder...
Broke her helmet.
Oh, I don't know.
Something's hanging off the front of her helmet
Could
there.
just be the chin strap, let's have a look.
Now there's something hanging off the visor there, so some sort of plastic that's holding that visor. The helmet's ready to go home for Christmas break.
Well, again, look, she's still got a smile on her face.
Exited Chrysler, we see the sled dip just a little bit and rise on the end. Most sleds are doing that. There's really nothing wrong with that. Then through turn 11, look at that nice aerodynamic form. Head down. She's trusting the sled. The biggest difference we saw between her and the Italian is the trust. Then exit at turn 14. Full send.
Yeah.
All the way over onto her back and getting it back down. I say that usually doesn't hurt a lot, but that one might sting a bit.
Sophia, 80 pounds wringing wet, 79% pounds of which is pure attitude. USA Savannah Grable, 3rd of our 20 starters in this women's skeleton race in Winterberg, Germany. Martin Haven and her teammate Greg West watching Savannah.
Caleb Snaggletooth putting her sled down. Had an unfortunate incident with a sandwich.
A sandwich-related incident, yeah.
Savannah looking to go home here. 5.65. She's a quarter second back, but handles 0. She doesn't have the skid that she had in the first heat. And that's big. That skid, 0 to 1 is death. There's nothing worse for speed on this track than that. She has a much cleaner run through there. She's back 4/10 of a second, though. So we'll see what she can do in the middle and the bottom of this track and see if she can reel it in. Savannah's known for having big speed late.
26th here last year. This is her 20th ever World Cup start.
Good speed through the middle, 91.5, so faster speed than her first heat. She stopped the bleeding, holding steady at 4/10 back. This check will tell us how she's doing. Little tap on the wall, though, 95.7, so better speed than anybody so far. She's going to have a chance to reel it in, but she needs to maintain through the bottom here, and then that steep uphill turn 14.
Heels apart, a la Katie Ulander, 126.0. She's got much better speed, but not quite enough, not quite enough. 58.66, she slips a spot. So all of that attitude from Sophia Jong. Again, if you steer it towards the line and take a hit, then you lose more time than if you just roll it off past the finish line.
Yeah, I think that there's a couple of small mistakes there. They really add up on this track. You can tell by the rest of the start list how close everybody is. A couple of small clips on the wall there, and it doesn't take much. We'll see her exit turn 2. She runs the corner a little bit long, and it looks like the bunk actually just clips the wall there, and that just knocks a bit of momentum down. Then exit turn 8 and then turn 9. She clips that wall. It pushes the sled away. She does a nice job managing it, but you have to work to do that.
Well, she has exactly double the number of races here than Sophia Jong, so this is her 2nd ever race here. So very short on experience on what is this technical Winterberg track. Kimberly Murray of Great Britain, 13th fastest of our starters. This is her 2nd World Cup start, but she did win here in Europa Cup, the basic level of sliding in Europe, in November. One of the women she beat is Janine Flock of Austria.
Well, there's no slouch there. I think Janine was leading 3 of the 4 heats of the Olympics, so that's a pretty solid piece of competition. Kim, 5.48, so she matches her first heat start time, but comes over and clips that right wall coming out of turn 0. We'll see how that affects her. Yep, back in the red.
One of the new sliders in the British programme, although she initially went into talent selection at the same time as Lizzie Arnold and Laura Dees. She got cut in the second round and then came back and went, no, actually, I'm not done. I want to go.
Little skid going into turn 5, but she's into the green. 1/100th of a second. We got a race on our hands. 91.2. I think it's the same speed as Sophia has right about on the exit of Kreisel. Holding in the green. We'll see the next time check how she stands. She's up 300, so pulling away just a bit.
And that a classic Winterberg tight race. Little knee steer there as she came off the turn.
Good run through 14. She needs to maintain speed going uphill. 400s. Anything can happen. There's 2 tenths hiding in 14.
It's going to be close to the line. 125.5's enough. 1600s in front, and that is 2200s better than her first run. We saw this in the men's race. The track got quicker, and the sliders were better responding to it, and it's the same here as well.
Absolutely. What we saw right there is what happens when you carry speed into turn 14. You can pull away. There was a 300 gap on the entrance to that corner, but it is so steep uphill. Any speed advantage you have really helps. We see exit corner 0. Just a little blip and comes over and clips that right wall. It doesn't look like much, but it hurts your speed. Exit of turn 4 into 5, you see that little skid going in there, and then turn 11, you see her head buried. Absolutely trying to have the best form she can have to sneak speed through the bottom, and she's your leader because of it.
Kimberly Murray, our race leader. 4 down, 16 to go. Next up is the second former bobsleigh brakewoman in the field, Jacqueline Narracott. The third being Marina Gilardoni, but she got a bit rattled up in Sigulda and is not here this weekend. So Jackie, among various other previous sports, bobsleigh brakewoman briefly. She turned 28 just 9 days ago and lies in 16th spot with a whole 700ths of a second over Kimberly Murray.
Yeah, there's a lot of people sitting around this time. Let's see what she can do here on the start. 5.52 from Jackie, so a little bit faster than her 5.58, but what's more importantly, she manages 0 to 1 very well and is carrying good speed into this steep uphill, then downhill turn 2. Rides it a little bit long, kind of like Savannah. I think I saw a little skid there, but 500's up. She clips the wall. She's got to put it together here if she wants a chance to take out take out Kim.
Yeah, you climb uphill into 4, then drop 3 stories in turn 5. This is where you accelerate. A 10th up now.
That's what she's doing, pulling away. She's up a 10th in the green. A little bit of a wave in Kreisel, but I don't think that's going to hurt it that much.
Best speed we've seen so far, 60.1 miles an hour, quicker than Savannah Grable.
Up a quarter second. I think Jackie's going to step on the gas here and pull away. It's not a whether she's going to pop ahead of Kim. It's how far up the ladder she's going to go. Up 3 tenths with good speed, 126.3, and another one over 50. Wow. Loses her sled in the outrun and gets it back.
Well, she's actually, that is 4900ths quicker than her first run.
You see her laughing through her eyes.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure she came off the sled, spun around, and then reached back and grabbed it.
Well, that's a 9.8 from the Russian judges on style alone, I think. Surely.
We see her on the load. She had a quicker start time than her first heat. 5.52. We see her diving on compared to that 5.58 in the first heat. Then looks like we're going exit 2, a little flop out. You see the nose skidding away a bit. Then here it is on the exit of 14. That is a long slide. She does. She lets go of the sled, spins around, lets go of it again.
Well, luckily there are no fans down there, but like, come back, baby, come back to me. Jacqueline Narracott, big, goofy smile, but that was, well, not the world's most elegant dismount, but she got it done, and that was a huge slide from the girl from Brisbane.
I'm pretty sure she's just trying to make the highlight reel.
Yeah, no kidding. She'll be in. 5 down, 15 to go here in Winterberg, Germany. This is Maddie Smith of Great Britain. 13th fastest start, 300s ahead of Jacqueline Narracott of Australia after 1 heat.
5.44, so she betters at first heat start time, but a great turn 0, a little toe action, but the fastest speed we've seen on the exit of turn 1, 61.7 kilometers an hour. Up in that steep uphill in turn 2, that's going to help her pull away, and we see her up 1100s because of it.
Up, down through corner 3, up to turn 4, over the brow. That's not lying to that camera shot. And then down into 5.
500's back, so she's bleeding a little bit back. She's down on speed a bit on Jackie. We'll see how she can go through on the exit of Kreisel. A little flop, but that puts her in the red. We got a race on her hands.
Yeah, gets the elbow out to help steer.
Back at 10th, same speed as Jackie, 95.2. How can she do through turn 11? She needs a good run. She needs to build speed through the labyrinth to carry it uphill. She's back 2/10. I think we're going to see Jackie Narcott moving up 124.6. It's not a question if she's in second, but yeah, second place. 58.41 back 0.3 of a second from the Aussie. Pretty solid run from Jackie. Is she going to be the one that does the jumping?
I think she might be. 58.41 from Madeline Smith. Still 1,200s better than her first heat. This is her fifth World Cup start. I do her an injustice.
Maddie's got nothing to hang her head about. It's a pretty solid looking run. We just have so many of these women so close together right now. Any little bit of mistake is going to be magnified.
From Hazeley near Solihull in the West Midlands. She's 23 years old. Finished in the medals here in the Europa Cup in November as well.
We see her in Kreisel sled dipping just a little bit, but it stays parallel with the track. A little flop on the exit. No major dramas there. I don't think that's where 2/10 went away. Just those little things add up.
Jacqueline Narracott of Australia. Could she be the big mover in this second heat of the women's skeleton in Winterberg? Let's find out. Great looking helmet design for Kim Marmans of Belgium. Really home ice here for the Belgians, so close to their home border. The 22-year-old has had lots of races here.
See what she can produce here on the start room. She's 5.44 in the first heat, 5.48 in the second, but a clean looking 0-1. Fastest speed of the heat there, 61.6K. Kim knows this track very well. I believe this is one. Between this and Koenigsegg are her home tracks, plural.
Yep.
She's up at 10th going in through that technical 3-4 section. It looks easy, but that is a tough straightaway to get through clean.
2 10th place World Cup finishes here. She's 14th off the first heat, 100th of a second in it.
She's back a little on speed on Jackie. You see her going to the red. She's 91.1, so down 2/10 of a kilometer an hour. That's how close this race is right now. 95.4. The lead is going away from her a bit, 1,400 back. But if she has a good 11 through 14, she can pull it back in the final corner.
Let's see what she can find. 2,200s back, third on the splits, 125.1. Will she split the British girls for third? Yes, second. Just ahead of Madeline Smith and Kimberly Murray. 400s ahead of Madeline Smith with a 58.41 slide, exactly the same as Madeline Smith. So only the 400s between them in the first heat, separating them after 2.
All right, let's keep tabs. That shows Jackie up 2. How far does she move up with that good of a run?
Florian Auer helping out with the sled. The Austrians and the Belgians teaming up for this season.
We see Kim going through turn 11 here. She's on this new Bromley sled, new this year for her.
Well, this is the year for new kit and for learning how it works, isn't it?
Yeah, and as we look at these replays, I'm not seeing any major dramas. Once again, these girls are just so tight on the timesheet. The smallest things are magnified.
Well, next up is Germany's Sophia Griebel, 200s ahead of Kim Meilmans, and that means a total of 900s in hand over our current leader, Jackie Narracott of Australia.
I think Sophia has an opportunity here to move up. This is one of those German home tracks. She had a couple of small dramas in the first heat. If she can just put down a clean one here, she can really do some damage.
New head coach Dirk Matchens took over from Jens Miller, who retired in the summer.
See if Sophia can make Dirk smile. 5:46 start time, so a little bit back to it. She comes out and clips that right wall out of turn 0. 61.3, so she's down a bit on speed on Narcott as she goes into turn 2. Nice looking run. She fixes it in turn 2. She's up 1/1200ths of a second. The question is she still bleeding away, or is she going to have an opportunity to put her foot down and leave everybody?
Well, let's see. Exeter Kreisel tells us where she's going to end up. 1,300s ahead going in. Decent speed, but only as good as Jackie Narracott.
I think Narcott put down a burner. 1,400, so they're holding steady, but 96.8. Good speed through turn 9. This is where the Germans tend to lead people. Let's see if she can do it right here. She's holding the lead.
Yeah, she
a little rough, 12-13. She's up 2/10, 126.2. I believe she will be the leader.
She leads at the line by 2,200s, 57.94. I hear that Dirk Matchens doesn't even smile at Smokey and the Bandit movies.
No.
57.94 in the first heat would have left her second.
So you're saying she went a little quicker?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
now, is she going to Axel Jung her way up the order? That's more of a smile.
we see her on turn 0. She's got the sled turned, and then it just comes over and touches that right wall, and that tends to cost you some speed. The good news is the rest of the way down the track looked incredibly good from Sophia. Good speed late. She really pulled away in turn 14, and that's why she's your leader by 0.2 of a second. 200ths is huge in this field. 0.2 is gigantic.
1/10 further up the order takes her another 7 sleds up the line. Okay, so 12 fastest after the first heat. The first of our Russian athletes, Renata Kutsina. And Kutsina with kind of mixed experience, 27th here last year, but 8th last week in a great start to the season in Sigulda.
You kind of have to throw last year out because there was about a foot of snow in the track. Yeah. There's a race within a race here. She's only 100th off of her teammate, Kanakina. After the first heat, a small little drift though out of turn 0. 5:45 start time for her, so she does improve by 100, but that little drift does negate it.
One of the bigger gaps in the top 20. She was 6 whole hundredths ahead of Jackie Naricott.
Right now, she's only got 200ths on Griebel. No, she doesn't. She's falling back in the red going into turn 5. She's going to need a good middle of the track here. She's falling back quickly, though. 1600ths back and down on speed, about a half a kilometer an hour. Now, here's the question. It's not a matter of does she just lose a spot. It is how far do you fall? Another skid going into 9. She's down on speed, 95.2.
Split time show her finishing in 5th place unless she finds something in corner 14.
She's going to need some magic. Now back 6/10.
Wow.
She's in 6th place on the splits. We'll see what she does on the exit. 6th.
Yeah. Okay, 58.66. Not only is that not better than her first heat, but actually that's the second slowest run of the field.
Yeah, there's a couple of killer mistakes in there. They don't look like much, but on this track, you can't. There's a couple places you just can't skid, or it hurts your speed. But not exactly what Renata was looking for. We see her exit turn 2. She clips the wall, very similar to Savannah Graybill, and it pushes her early into 3, and she has to work incredibly hard in turn 3 there just to keep it off the wall. And we see her exit of turn 8. The sled skids and comes over and hits the wall. So, and then the trifecta of that is she went in late in the 9. You just can't do that.
Well, you mentioned Savannah. She tied her exactly the same time, 58.66. So very similar run for the two of them. Sofia Griebel leads with 11 to go, first of whom is Russia's Yulia Kanakina, former junior world champion. She was in the silver medal in the World Championships on this track in 2016.
So Yulia can do here on the start time. 5:27, had the second fastest start in the first heat.
For a ballerina, she runs, doesn't she? 5:27, 5:25.
Up 0.28 of a second. But here's the great thing about that. She has a great start time, but an even better 0 to 1. And far and away, the fastest speed going into turn 2, up on the field, almost a kilometer an hour. She's a half second up on Griebel right now.
So where's the crossover where it comes down to 0 and then she goes into the red?
Well, let's find out. I don't know if she's going to. She's holding steady, a little over 0.4 of 91.6K. Well, a little bit wavy in Kreisel, though, and a little flop out.
And not as quick as Griebel was going into the Kreisel. Gaps halved, down from 46 to 29. Well, okay, maybe not a half.
We got a race on our hands, so there's 0.2 of a second hiding in turn 14. You have to add speed going uphill. 700ths. What's it going to be? She's way down on speed. She's going to fall back. Griebel's going to move up 1, I believe. She does.
So she slips a spot. 58.13. Big knee steer coming off the Kreisel. She really had to haul it around the Kreisel to get the exit she wanted. Maybe that's where she scrubbed off a lot of that pace, but boy, she's got speed at the top of this track.
And it's not like she had a bad run. No. That run would have placed her 5th after the first heat. The only problem is Griebel would have placed 2nd.
Yeah.
We see her in Kreisel now, the sled rising, and then that dip there in the middle, rise on the end. That's energy going everywhere but forward. We see the sled rise a 3rd time on the exit. Little toe action.
Yep.
But,
second place for Yulia Kanakina. Sofia Griebel leads with 10 sleds to go here in Winterberg in Germany. So here is our leaderboard. Griebel by 1200s from Kanakina. Jackie Narracott still in third, and 10 still to come. Could be a lot more rising and falling. Well, the nature of this Winterberg track already showing itself very clearly. If you'd only watched 10 sleds today, tells you everything you need to know about this track. Mistakes are easy to make, sometimes hard to spot, but it's like being torpedoed below the waterline. If you have a steer in the wrong place, all the speed just leaks out somewhere and you've got nothing left.
It's not even just a steer in the wrong place, a steer that's just a little too hard that you can't even see.
Yeah.
The differences right now are incredibly subtle. There's so many close races we've already had, and then going through the heart of the field here, especially with your top 10, there's a lot of movement available. I think anybody in the top 10 has a chance to move up into the top 3. It's just, you know, they're so close, anything can happen.
Lots of fans down the bottom. There in the Dutch hat is my broadcast partner from the first heat, Michael Rogels. You know what he sounds like, now you know what he looks like. And he's down there with girlfriend Kimberly Boss's family. So lots of Dutch here. And those are the globes for our top half dozen in each of the races today. Men and women's skeleton today, women's bob and 4-man on Saturday, and 4-man again on Sunday. It was double 2-man weekend in Sigulda, so double 4-man weekend here in Winterberg, where the track actually is big enough to get 4-man down without snapping them in half, apparently. Apparently that is a thing. So there's a great view. Brand new VIP building down there. That's just above the finish line. And the town of Winterberg in the background, just beside the VIP building. Used to be a bit of a forest. Came into, oh, whoa, where have all those trees gone? Yeah, so more building going on there at the Veltins Ice Arena. And the fans waiting for Jacqueline Lurling to win this one. Are they going to be disappointed? I don't know. Hard to call, but I think they've got their money on the right horse. We'll wait and see. 10 down, 10 to go. Women's bobsleigh skeleton race number 2 of the season. Kendall Westenberg at the USA, 10th place after the first heat.
See what Kendall can do here. She had a mission when she came to this track after last year. She wanted some redemption, and so far she's done a good job of getting it. 5:59 start time. A little blip on the exit of turn 0, handles it well. 60.7 though, she's down a bit on speed going into turn 2, but Kendall's one of those athletes that, very similar to the Germans, likes to build speed late. Nice looking exit at 2. So let's watch this gap. She's 1900s back, but a nice 3-4. Can she reel in the German?
4th World Cup race here. She was 12th on her debut, a high of 10th 2 years ago, 25th last year in the dreadfully wintry conditions. So this is a huge lot better. Big skid on the exit.
That flop on the exit, and then that hit before turn 9 is not going to help her. She's down 0.4 of a second. She's going to fall at least 1. The question is, how far will it be? She needs a good bottom to stop the bleeding.
At the moment, she's losing a hatful of time on 125.7. Good speed at the bottom, which she had in the first heat. Brings it back, but loses 6 spots. 58.63, little punch of the air from Sophia Griebel. Your race leader, Kendall Westenberg, drops to 6th place with 9 to go. So she's not going to equal her career best here of 10th.
What we saw there were 2 mistakes. That's it. 2 mistakes cost 0.6 of a second. That is how close this Winterberg track is. We see her going into Kreisel right now. A small dip. It's not bad yet. We see it rise again, but then it just, the nose turns over and comes out early, and we see her come up on the exit. You see the leg come up. And then through turn 11 here, she's trying to pull it back. She's got her head pinned. Everything's tucked in nice, trying to be as arrow as possible. But it just doesn't take much here.
Nope. So she is down and done. Next up is Netherlands' Kimberly Boss. She was tied for 8th place with Jane Channel of Canada to the 100th of a second. And the advantage is a 10th over our current race leader, Sophia Griebel.
We'll see what Kim can do here. She had 5.40 on the start last time.
Kristen Bromley yelling her off at the top, 5:38. That's every 100th here helps, Greg, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a skid, 0 to 1, but she managed it well. 61.8 going into turn 2, so she has good speed. See how she can manage on the exit. 2,400's up. All right, let's watch that number. She's in the green by a quarter of a second, but Griebel threw down a burner. Would have been the second fastest time in the first heat. So Kim needs to keep it together. 1,400's up in the Kreisel. Can she hold on?
7th in the World Cup 2 years ago. Silver medalist in the Junior Worlds in December 2017. 16.
100th of a second as she goes through turn 9. We got a race. She needs to put together some speed. She's in the red going through 11. She needs a really good labyrinth in 14 if she wants to hold her spot. Falling back 1,200ths.
125.8, very good speed. Sophia Griebel, though, had 126, so she'll drop a spot. 2 spots by 300s behind Yulia Kanakina. So you saw Kristen Bromley there.
Sophia on the move, for sure. Once again, a good-looking run from Kim. No major dramas there, but Griebel put that German accelerator down in the second half of the track, and we see her moving well up the list. Kim has an excellent start time, 5:38. Anybody in the 30s for the women is doing a great job.
Dutch and Norwegians working together with Kristen Bromley and their physio, Robin Raymond.
See her exit at turn 0. It kicks away from her just a bit. She does a nice job of keeping it off the wall. But third place after that heat.
Third place with 8 still to go. Next up is Jane Channel. And the Canadian slider tied to the 100th with Kimberly Boss. So again, that's tiny, just a 1/10 of a second or so over Sophia Griebel. Now, she can do this. She didn't have the neatest first run. She lost speed at the bottom of the track. Crush it. that's Chris at the top.
We'll see what Jane can do here. She was 5:30, very competitive start time in the first heat. In fact, the 4th fastest start time. See if she can dip in the 20s now. 5:35, still very, very good. She's up 2,200ths on Griebel and has good speed going into turn 2.
Pretty windy and gusty at the top of the track.
Manages the exit of turn 2 well, actually pulling away 2,800ths. So call it 3/10. Watch that number. She's in the green as she starts into the middle of the track. If she has a good Kreisel, she's got a chance. 2,200ths. A little toe action entrance to Kreisel, 91.6K, so she's down just a little bit.
Bronze medalist here 3 years ago behind winner Tina Herman and second place Jacqueline Lurling.
95.1, down a bit on speed, back into the red. She really has to pull it together here through the bottom.
And this is where the speed went away in the first heat. She needs 126. What's she got? 124.5.
She's gonna fall 1. The question is at 2 or 3. Wow.
And it's 5, 58.33. That speed all going down at the bottom of the track.
Sophia Griebel, Yulia, Kim Boss, Jackie Narcott, all moving up another spot.
Jackie Narcott will be no worse than 11th. She's 4th with 7 to go from 16th in the first heat, so she's still climbing the order.
Up 5 so far.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
We see Jane here. See, coming through, that's an exit of turn 9, or she's going into turn 9, I believe. Oh, going into Kreisel. Sorry, guys. Getting a little turn around. It happens. I hit my head a lot. We see her going through Kreisel here. A couple of small waves, but no major dramas. But the field is just so tight right now. She obviously knows that there was a mistake somewhere. Maybe we didn't see it.
Not happy with that one. First World Cup race this season for Great Britain's Laura Dees did not compete in Sigulda. And Eric Bonota's holding the sled for our Olympic bronze medalist.
Laura looking to have at least match that start time in the first heat of 5:35. She had the 6th fastest start time. Laura, obviously a very accomplished pilot as well. She's another one that has an opportunity to go hunting here and find some spots. 5:35, so she does match it. She's up 3/10 on Griebel, but she did come out and hit that right wall out of 0. Uphill and then steep downhill. The cameras do not do it justice. Little nick on the wall there, but holding steady at 3/10. Needs a really good middle of the track here because Griebel's bottom was absolutely fantastic. It was so fast that it's going to be hard to catch. 2,600, it's going away a bit.
91.5 is decent speed, not as quick as Jackie Narracott. Long slide on the exit.
Good entrance into turn 9. She's up 12 hundredths. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. Griebel had big speed here. We'll check it on the entrance of turn 14. She needs to be perfect through here. Nope. Back in the red. 100th back. 125.5. Is she going to fall? She's going to fall 1. The question is it 2?
Decent speed at the bottom. Only 800s behind Sophia Griebel. I thought she might just about have enough to pull it back. So 800s behind. She slips 1 spot to Griebel. Griebel leads with 6 to go.
I think we saw Griebel have just an absolute burner.
Yeah.
Her first heat, there was a couple of small mistakes, and they do add up here, but she put it together in the second heat, and she is just moving up the finishing order.
Well, by rights, Sophia Griebel had no business being down in 13th, so a loose first run, she's making up for it.
Laura D's in Kreisel. We see the sled waving just a bit, but that's what you want to see. There's a third wave or pressure right here, a little blip, but she handles it just fine. But that small little skid going into turn 8, that's right where the track falls away. It is so steep there, but the camera doesn't really do it justice. And if you're decelerating when everybody else is accelerating, it is really hard to drive around it.
Sophia Griebel leads Laura Dees and Yulia Kanakina of Russia. We've had 14 women down, 6 to go. Top 6 for Canada's Mirela Reniva and Mimi, third fastest starter in the field, is a quarter of a second out of a potential medal finish.
Mimi with a really good start in the first heat. 5.29. We'll see what she'll do here on the start ramp. 5.33, still a very good start. Second fastest of the heat. 62K going into turn 2. That's big speed.
Huge speed, fastest of all. And bronze medalist here 2 seasons ago.
4,700, so she's pulling away. She's got a half second on the field right now. Let's see if she can maintain it. Once again, Griebel had a smoking second half of the track. Mimi holding steady at 4,700. 92K, good speed going through the middle, though. We'll see how she handles it on the exit of Kreisel. Nice transition in this 8 and clean into 9, 96.3, good speed.
This is her painting herself into a top 6 finish. Unless there's a disaster now, she's got enough speed on board. She's got enough of an advantage over Griebel. Still 3,200s up, 125.9, that'll do. She'll be the leader at the line. Pushes Sophia Griebel out of the leader's box by 2,800s. 57.88. And that is the second fastest run of the competition. Only Jacqueline Lerling in the first heat has gone quicker.
Great run from Mimi there, and I think Sophia was starting to get cold in the leader's box, so she will be grateful to.
Yeah, she'll suck it up.
I think she would disagree with that. But no, that was Mimi had a great start time. We see her here, second fastest start of the second heat, and she had the second fastest start of the first heat too. But on top of the great start, she had a very, very good drive. And on this Winterberg track, that could be enough. So you're going through turn 11, great aerodynamic form. You see the feet together, toes pointed, trying to build as much speed going into that uphill section that is turn 14.
Top 6 finish guaranteed for Mimi Reniva of Canada. What about her teammate Lisbeth Meyer? Elizabeth Vachi as was. Lots of Dutch-based Vachi family here.
There's a huge gap between these two after the first heat. 4 whole hundredths of a second. So we got a race right here.
Yawning margin. Winner here 2 years ago. Silver medalist last season. 5.35, decent start.
Good start there from Liz. 61.6 though. She's down on speed on her teammate going into turn 2. So we'll see what that equates to on the exit. So she's 900ths back as she goes through the flat part of the top of the track. We'll see how much she can build speed through the middle and if she can chase down her teammate.
Now, so far apart from Sophia Griebel and Jackie Narracott, almost nobody has built speed further down the track.
91.0, decent speed through the middle. A little toe action on the exit of Kreisel, though.
Not coming back. The setup is not right on her Bromley sled. Whatever she chose to do to it for these conditions today, it's not working in the second heat.
That's Winterberg for you. A tiny little, almost imperceptible mistake, and she's down a half second, 123.7, down on speed as well.
Going to lose a hatful of places. 8 spots she drops. with only the 12th fastest run of this heat, 58.59. Little applause from her teammates in the leaders box.
That is not what Liz had planned when she was at the top of the track a minute ago. Couple of very small mistakes, and they add up here. I mean, this field is so close. You just can't blink without it costing you.
Well, here's the nature of this track. Same slider, 2 years ago, gold, last year, silver, this year, out the top 10.
I just think that shows that the women's field is starting to get closer. I mean, everybody is more experienced, more accomplished. We see her exit a turn 0. I didn't notice that in the live broadcast. She actually kicked the wall, trying to keep it off of there, and about 300 brush spikes hitting the wall. Probably not the best way to accelerate.
4 to go. Janine Flock of Austria, her first World Cup of the season. She's been doing plenty of winning on the lower trails so far this season. Second here in both races in the Intercontinental Cup in November. And Mimi Reniva of Canada, you saw, our current race leader.
Janine had a 5:56 start time in the first heat, but she was stumbling. 5:53, so she does improve it here. 0.08 of a second up, 61.6. So she's down a little bit on speed going into turn 2. But Janine drove around everybody but Jacqueline Nolan in the first heat. So we'll see what she can do here. Up 300s in the 3-4 straight.
Now Mimi started a lot quicker, so Janine might dip into the red now. But will she find it? No, she doesn't. So she's starting to build the lead already. 92.4, fastest of all. No one quicker at that stage.
Good speed through Kreisel. Better exit from Kreisel. If she's clean into 9, she has a chance to accelerate away, and she is up 1100s, but 96.9 speed. Great speed from the Austrian. If she's clean through the lower labyrinth, she's going to extend. You're going to watch this 1900s turn into closer to 3/10 on the exit. 126.7.
Janine Flock going for the medals, 57.89. Again, that would have left us second in the second heat. Now that is 3/10 slower, beg your pardon, faster than most of the field. So Janine Flock with a real shot at the medals. Teammate Florinau down at the bottom. Her boyfriend Matthias Guggenberger coaching her at the top.
Good-looking guy.
Real
every
support
girl
family.
on tour has a crush on that guy. We see her here on the load.
What, the guys don't?
No comment. This time she doesn't have that step out that she had in the first heat. And you see that she had a much faster start time because of it. Going through turn 11, got that great Austrian form. They teach that so much at Eagles. Had her feet pinned together, a little high on the exit, but manages it well. This puts a lot of pressure on Tina Hermann, who's up next, the German. They were only separated by 1/100th of a second. Second through fourth was separated by a total of 2/100ths of a second in the first heat.
Tina outstarted Janine by 200ths in the last run, so she needs to find a little bit more.
Let's see what she can do here. It's the start ramp for Tina, not exactly her strong suit, but what is building that speed late. Little toe action going into turn 0, 5.53, 15th fastest start of the heat, but she's up 100th on the Austrian going through turn 1.
She started the same speed as Janine, same time as Janine, and so she's got her first heat advantage in hand, but less speed, so she's now in the red.
Back 100th, it might as well be a dead heat. Janine had a really good run through the middle and the bottom of the track. Tina's gonna have to do the same. You see the sled waving just a bit, holding steady at 192.3 kilometers now. Good speed through the Kreisel. Nice looking line on the exit. If she's clean into 9, she's got a chance. We've got a dead heat as the track drops away. 96.8, good speed.
Not as quick.
Back in the red, but this is where she has a chance to pull it back. Home track knowledge. But back 200, she needs great speed and she has it.
We could tie for the medal, 128.3. Will she be in front of the line? She is by 300s, 57.87. So we've had 57.87 from Tina Hermann, 57.88 from Mimi Reniva, 57.89 from Janine Flock. That's how close this track is, and that's just on one run alone.
If you watch her down the track, first, then second, then second, then first, then second, then first, it was just back and forth. Those two had mirror image runs of each other. That 100th of a second at the start, though, does multiply down the track. A huge gap of 300ths after 2 miles of ice. We see her here loading on the sled. She had a 5.53 start time. which bettered her 5.54 in the first heat through turn 11, and this is where she set herself up to pull back. She was in the red at this point with 2 corners to go. She was back 100, but she had a really nice 11 through 13 transition, had great speed uphill through 14, and that is why she will do no worse than bronze today.
Our World Cup points leader, race winner last weekend in Sigulda in Latvia, is our race leader, beg your pardon, in second place. She was in the medals last year in third, Elena Nikitina.
Pushed a monster 5.16 in the first heat, 5.19, making me feel a little better about myself. Matches my start time for the men's race.
And the current leader, Tina Hermann, started 5.53, so 3,400 slower.
Elena has monster speed through the top, 62.7, but a skid going into turn 3. She's up a half a second. Will that skid will eat into that? We will find out.
92.4 is the fastest from Janine Flock. 91.5, kilometre an hour down.
Yep, kilometer down. She's 4,700s up. It'll be closer to 3/10 at the next checkpoint. She's got to be cleaning into 9. She is 3/10 back, but down on speed.
1.6 kilometres an hour down. She's losing more speed with every corner.
We know there's 2/10 hiding in turn 14. She's got to be about 128 to hold on to it. 1,700s up, down on speed, 124.9. Is there enough track for her to hold on?
No! Bumps the wall.
Drops 2 spots.
Tina Hermann in second place. So the winner in 2015-16, 3 seasons ago, leads with last year's winner still to go.
That is indicative of what happens when you make a mistake up top. This happened on the exit of turn 2. It's hard to believe it, but she had that little skid. It cost her some speed while everybody else is accelerating. She's decelerating. Watch right here. The sled actually kicks out just a bit and catches in pressure in turn 3. So while everybody else is accelerating steep downhill, she actually decelerated, and it really multiplied. We see her in turn 11 here. The sled dips more than others. It's going to rise up here on the end. Yeah, and that's energy going everywhere but forward. 0.04 of a second drops her 2 spots.
She lies third, 1 to go. Nikitina is likely out of the medals. If not, it'll be an even more dramatic story. Tina Hermann leads, Janine Flock second, Elena Nikitina third, Jacqueline Lurling, the hometown queen, last year's winner, last year's World Cup champion, the reigning world champion on her home track.
Olympic medalist, I mean, sure she did an internship in there somewhere. Yeah. I mean, she's got a pretty impressive resume already.
3,400s lead after the first heat. The crowd expects, and Jacka tends to deliver.
5.51, she's fired up 300s faster than her first heat, and a great 0-1. Now she's down a bit on speed, 61.5 kilometers an hour. Turn 2, though, is not her get. It's the bottom of the track where she built speed, 4/10. You watch that number, she has a chance to cut it down. Nice looking run, 4 to 5. I mean, she's putting on a clinic on how to drive that track, but she's extending 4,400s. She's pulling away 92.9. Great speed through the Kreisel. It's going to take a major error somewhere for her to lose it. Now up a half second, 97.4. Say bye-bye to Jacqueline Lurling because she is about to leave everyone.
This track is not about speed at the bottom, at the top, it's speed at the bottom. 128.6, she cruises to victory. Her second straight win in as many seasons, 57.55. A monumental slide from Jacqueline Lurling.
What is more difficult, winning 2 in a row here or making Dirt Matching smile? Because she just did both.
Jacqueline Lurling wins again. After a slew of silver medals, she's had 5 races at the senior level in this track. The World Championships 2015, beaten into silver by Lizzie Arnold. 2016, beaten into silver by Tina Hermann. 2017, beaten into silver by Elizabeth Arche. 2018, she won. 2019, she wins again.
Nothing better than winning in front of your hometown family, your friends.
There's your mum, there's your dad, there's your family, there's everybody that knows you down at the bottom of the track.
Now, excellent job from Janine. From Jacqueline. You can't pick that run apart. If you want to know how to drive this track, it doesn't matter who you are. Take notes on what you've seen today, because she put on an absolute clinic. This race was tight from top to bottom, and she did everything right, and that is why she won by a monster 67 hundredths of a second, almost 7/10 on the field. And Tina Herman in second is no slouch. She has an impressive resume as well. And Janine Flock rounds out your top three, 7/10 back. Really excellent racing today in Winterberg.
Yeah, second to third, 300ths, third to fourth, 100th, first to second, 67 hundredths of a second. Another 67, which gives you 134, takes you down to Laura Dees, Julia Kanakina territory, 7th and 8th. That's how far ahead of the rest of the field Jacqueline Lurling was. She wins it at home again. Tina Herman and Janine Flock, your picks for the podium, didn't disappoint you. Eleni Nikitina just 100th away. Mimi Reniva and Sophia Griebel rounding out the top half dozen. Good run up the order from Jackie Narracott, and a little bit of a mixed race for those behind. Some big climbers and some big fallers, but that is the nature of this Winterberg track. It breaks as many hearts as it mends. You see the Latvian flags down at the bottom. They're always at the trackside, and there's always lots of support here for Jacqueline Lurling. And this is a tough track because just the tiniest errors can just make such a difference to your race.
We saw that all the way down the top 20 women, just tiny little mistakes. And once again, it wasn't even maybe a mistake, just maybe driving a little more firmly in some places than others was causing large gaps. But when you have, what was it, 4th through 17th was within just a few tenths of a second. Anything can happen, and anything did. We had some really big movers. Sophia Griebel, I think, was up 4 spots. Jacqueline Narracott, I believe, was up 5 or 6.
6, yeah.
I mean, just some excellent racing today. The women did not disappoint. They put on a heck of a show, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Narracott went 16th to 10th. Griebel went 13th to 6th. So, yeah, Dirk Matchins won't be happy about that because she shouldn't have been in 13th in the first place. In his book, she should have gone 6th to 3rd. What's wrong with the clean sweep all of a sudden, But it's going to be a while before somebody beats Jackie Narracott. Jacqueline Lurling, rather. She's got to sort of not show up, basically, for a year for somebody else to win it at the moment. That's the kind of form she's in on this track.
And what's scary is she's improving on the start range.
Yeah.
She gets better every year. This is the best shape I've ever seen her in, and she is driving lights out right now to top it off. She's going to be difficult to top this year.
And she's an elderly 23. She's probably only got another decade or so of winning in her, There's Janine Flock. Well, you said maybe silver medal, but she was in the bronze medal position. Not bad start to her World Cup campaign. And she's had a couple of medals already at the junior levels as well, getting warmed up for the season to start. So her boyfriend, Matthias Guggenberg, at the moment, injured, recuperating and coaching. Coach back to athlete, that's a hard step to take.
He seems pretty happy right now coaching.
Yeah, feeling no pain, and there's the key. Winterberg in Germany, a winter wonderland, certainly if your name is Jacqueline Lurling, our race winner here, round 2 of the Women's Skeleton World Cup. And after Eleni Nikita won the season opener and finished just 100th off the podium here, she too is right at the top of the World Cup rankings. So Nikitina and Lurling with a victory apiece in the top 3. Tina Herman, not off the podium so far this season, lies in 2nd place. Nikitina, with a slender World Cup points lead, will wear the yellow vest when we return in the first week of January in Altenburg. As if sliding in the week after New Year's Eve wasn't hard enough, it's going to be the track that's too tough to tame. Marina Gilardoni, 21st in the points, didn't race here this weekend, so she's been overhauled by Valentina Margaglio, who made her World Cup debut for the season here on what is a handful of World Cup races. So those are the standings after Winterberg. A break now of almost 2 weeks before we rejoin in Altenburg. Very different natured track. You need to drive a lot more. It's much less subtle, let's say, in its steering, but Jacqueline Learning, in the sort of form she is, the reigning world champion, Olympic silver medalist, might well have a shout there as well. Here in Winterberg, it was always going to be the first name anybody chose to be on the podium, though, right?
Absolutely, and Lowling, once again, is having the season, the drive of her life right now. I think that her skill set's going to lend herself very well to the technical Altenburg circuit coming up here in a couple weeks.
Some big smiles on the podium there from Janine Flock in the Austrian jacket, from Tina Hermann on the left, and especially from Jacqueline Learning, our race winner. So flowers being presented to our top three. And another great homecoming for Jacqueline Learning. Janine Flock yet again on the podium on a technical track. Tina Hermann in second place, and Jacqueline Learning the race winner. And the girls get the sponsor's product. What a tough thing to do when it's sponsored by the local beer company. The Veltons Ice Arena again putting on a great tight race with lots and lots of risers and fallers in the second heat. So that's how we finish our women's skeleton campaign pre-Christmas. My thanks to Greg West again. That's such a hard name to pronounce. For all his words of wisdom. We'll catch up with him again in the new year. Enjoy your Christmas. Until then, from me, Martin Haven, the rest of the IBSF TV crew. Lots more sliding coming up with the bobsled this weekend. Women and double four-man duty. Until we meet again tomorrow morning, we'll see you. But it's Auf Wiedersehen from Winterberg.